Today, I'm interviewing Jean-Philippe Schepens van Thiel. He's an economist, statistician, ornithologist, entrepreneur, and founder of an AI startup. And Jean-Philippe is passionate about creating synergies between nature and data science technology. And I just know we're going to have a fascinating conversation. Welcome, Jean-Philippe, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Eben.
Yeah. So tell me this. First of all, how do you go from studying birds to studying, economies and statistics to studying AI? I mean, I've never met an ornithologist entrepreneur, never mind an AI entrepreneur. How do you do this?
Well, it's all about a red line in my life is having a positive impact, and it's about connecting dots. And the most value, the most satisfying value, but the most impact also in entrepreneurial, in your entrepreneurial life is connecting dots that are far away from each other, because then the value is getting bigger. And that thing is you can do when you study sciences that are quite different from each other and try to make those connections. So there's always a joke going around, like a bird is a drone that creates data. So you can see it, you could see it in a different way. And as I'm a techno-positivist, I believe that technology can change the world. But nature is already here for more than 4 billion years. And that's a hell of an algorithm. That's a hell of an algorithm. So this is where life started. This is why life evolved. And the cool thing in nature is that nature never created a byproduct. We human beings always are creating byproducts. So take nuclear energy, which is as such a clean energy, but you have byproducts, and we don't know what to do with the byproducts, like plastic, etc. Nature is like the best invention. They upcycle, downcycle, look at a rainforest, everything is reused. And that should be an inspiring environment for each entrepreneur. Try to go into that direction. I mean, think about not creating byproducts. That would be great. And that's what we're looking at with technology, of course. So that is for me always, one of the main mantras. I would say, let's keep on looking at nature, keep on looking at nature. That's one of my mantras.
Yeah, and connecting dots far away from each other. AI is great at doing that as well. So it makes sense why you'd be interested in it. Yeah.
Yes. So I hear a lot about, AI will never replace creativity. I say, there's where you have it wrong. It will replace creativity, not in 100%, but it will help creativity because it will connect dots where human beings are not making that connection. So it will help. So I'll also see the world of AI will be a world of AI assistance for everyone. If you're doing B2C or B2B or whatever, in which area you are, it will be AI assistance. So it will help people do their job in a better way because they're helped with a machine. So that's being a techno-positivist. So making a better world with the help of machines. So that is what is going to happen in the future. I'm completely convinced about that.
How have you used AI to connect dots that are really far from each other and to, learn something, or use AI to take what you've learned about nature and then turn that into something that humans can use?
For me, at this moment, the best integrated AI solution, and we're diving right into the AI space, is Waze. Waze is the workable, that everybody knows, best integrated AI because it's using satellite maps, it's using live data of traffic, it's using historical data, it's using all types of different data, and it uses feedback from the user. So it's completely integrated, and it's very smart. And the AI is integrating all that and making this happening. So this is really cool. And this is based also, we have other AI cool applications that, for instance, Tesla is using for autonomous cars and stuff like that. Well, this is all based on nature. This is called reinforcement learning. This is how ants are looking for food. This is how it is happening, because in an ant colony, there's not one ant going, like the general ant says, and we all go for food left and we all go for food right. No, it's randomly searched, and one ant stumbles on sugar or whatever and come back to the nest and says, okay, or to the colony, and leaves a pheromone trail. And then another ant bumps on that trail and goes, investigates, follow the trails and reinforces it. that's exactly how autonomous cars are avoiding traffic jams, for instance. It's just based on that. That's what we call biomimicry, and I'm a big fan of biomimicry.
Sounds like the learning process too.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh. So can you tell us, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's how Earth evolved with 4 billion years. It's like Darwinism, it's with reinforcement learning, and that's a hell of an algorithm. It really works well. And that's why we need to look more in nature for that. So in biomimicry, you can, you can copy several things. And this is, the ecosystem is the most complex thing to copy. But you can complex shape, for instance, that's the simple. So like shark skin is known to be antibacterial. So why don't we paint everything in hospitals with that structure? Or like a water lily. You ever saw a dirty water lily? No, because when raindrops fall on it, they just take the dirt away. So what if the paint of your car is painted with that same shape? So, and this is all this, I'm telling every solution is in nature. We just need to look outside. It's all there, even in AI. So where you get that inspiration, should get that inspiration.
Yeah, like Velcro. So
yeah,
can
like
you
Velcro to gecko, indeed, yeah.
Yes. Can you tell us more about your journey from being an economist and statistician to an ornithologist, and then, AI tech entrepreneur?
Yeah. I was first an ornithologist, I have to admit.
Oh, okay, got it.
That was my interest in nature was the first.
So it was, you studied birds, then you studied statistics and economies, and then you studied entrepreneurship.
Yes, correct.
And then AI. Okay.
True to entrepreneurship while I was at university. So I studied at the University of Louvain, one of the biggest universities in Belgium. And, like while studying there, we had already, like startups, but that was the begin years of the internet. So, and we were having the first internet ISPs, and we were all rolling into, while we were studying, into new technology. And that's where I became a self-made entrepreneur, because we were rolling into technology in order to change the world. So at that time, we had a digital gap. Companies that were on the internet and companies that were not on the internet. And the business was done in a different way. And that's where we saw, oh, this is getting really interesting. This is what we want to do with bringing the economy with one giant leap forward. And then it's exactly what is happening today with AI. You have companies already using AI and companies not using. So you have a digital gap here as well. And as I'm like very conscious about, being transparent, being having a positive impact. So we, with our current AI company, we are democratizing AI. We want to bring AI to every company. So and that is because there's digital gap. But in the beginning years of the internet, well, you had the same problem and privacy issues as well. But when in my career I did that, we grow into that, and then I became also the first president of DNS.be. So that was the domain names.be, and we used that model to. I was the first president of .eu, so we used that, and you see, so we evolved, or I evolved into the new technology, and how this is embracing and getting into society as well.
Hey, quick question for you. What are you learning from this interview? And what do you want to learn next? Well, you probably want to stay ahead of the curve with AI just like we want to. And we want to be your top resource for interesting, cutting edge AI tools and knowledge here on Metamind. We're finding and interviewing interesting experts from different worlds, different industries. And then we're using this knowledge so we can keep up with AI and improve our success, improve our quality of life. So stay with us on this journey. So first, click on the subscribe button, which you'll find under the video, so that YouTube puts this into your feed when we release new interviews with AI experts. And if you're enjoying this interview, please give me a like to let others know that this is the real deal. And also, if you know someone who's interested in what we're talking about here, then send this interview to them so that they can learn with you. And I also want to hear from you. So go down to the comments below and let me know, what's your favorite prompt or prompting technique? What are your favorite AI resources or tools? What are you learning from this conversation? Do you disagree with anything we're saying here? And also, what else would you like to learn? Who would you like me to interview here on Metamind? All right, well, go and subscribe, leave me a comment below, and back to our interview. So I'm an entrepreneur as well, and I have a couple of AI startups and so forth. My one of my insights is that when you interact with the generative AI, how you hold it in your mind, how you represent it, and then how you communicate with it, that this is really the foundation of it. And so I'm really interested, when you think about generative AI, how do you hold it in your mind? How do you represent it? What is it to you? And then how do you use that to communicate with it and get positive results from it?
I like your question a lot, but I have to say, when you read the press about I have to, we need to have a reality check, because 90% of the AI that is mentioned in the press is not AI. It's BI, advanced analytics, and etc. So it's not real, proper AI, like we call it. Then out of those 10 or 20% that's left over of that, 80% of that is Gen AI, it's NLP, it's natural language processing, it's semantics about that. But NLP exists already 15 years. I'm using NLP already 10 in my companies 10 or 15 years ago. So it already exists at that moment. So you have like the 10, 20% that is left over. And I think that will have like a huge impact on, at least in the business and the economy, how they will be run in the future. Because, this is something that is still, this is the first wave that is coming up. And I'm like so grateful on ChatGPT and BART, etc. that came up, because my company already exists just a little over 2 years. And 2 years ago, I had to explain to everybody how AI will change the business world, and nobody believed me. Then Gen AI or OpenAI came with ChatGPT, and then all of a sudden, although it's not the AI that we're aiming at, it completely changed at least my pitch. So at least the perceptive and the acceptance of AI in business. So it completely changed from 1 month to another month. So, and that was how fast, but we see that also in history, new technologies along history, like 200 years ago, it took like to change company 10 to 20 to 30 years. And our companies can change in less than 6 months because of the technology. And that's why I'm such a techno-positivist, but it goes very, very fast. We are using Gen AI in our solutions, but we go much further than that. We are using, like pathfinding algorithms. We are using, we are using reinforcement learning all the time with our solutions. So we really go the step further than Gen AI. So just to make the framework even.
Excellent. Well, okay, so that's great distinctions there. You're actually building AI and using it in your own ways as well. When you think about it, though, how do you think about it? Do you represent it as an entity in your mind, or do you think of it like a machine, or do you think of it like a god, or how do you hold it when you're thinking about it and you're relating to it?
So I have a couple of red lines that are really driving me doing business. One of the red lines that's driving me doing business is fairness. So I truly believe in fair business. That doesn't mean that you can't do proper liberal economy or business. No, it's fairness. So that means that I believe in an open economy where everybody has an equal chance to become, like the American dream wherever you are. So I'm a strong believer in that. So that means that a data scientist who has more knowledge than a businessman or somebody who doesn't know anything about data or about science or about AI should also have access to that, I think. So to me, democratizing AI is bringing AI to the businessman, to the business people, because ultimately they are the ones who are deciding about the business. So that means that a data scientist cannot play God and say in a finance sector, this needs to happen on algorithm level. No, this is not possible to me. The business owner should decide that. So then we start thinking, how can you democratize a complicated science and technology into something that is understandable and that is usable for an everyday businessman, and make it affordable. I mean, affordable not only money-wise, but affordable also in your process as a business person. So, and then we came Because today AI, except Gen AI, but the rest of the AI is always bespoke and is always black boxed. So that means that you always go with a project, that project delivers results, and those results are tested by the business people. And when those results are not good or need to be changed or not good enough or whatever, or need optimization, they go back to the data scientist, they do their magic, the black box is changing and the results are changing also. So that means you're always on project-based. You create a digital gap over there because people who will not have access to data scientists, not have the money, and data scientists are hard to find, they will not fight with the same weapons as the other ones, if I could say in the business terms. So, and to me, there's a big science difference also. At the moment that the data scientists or the models are delivering the results, the data has changed in the back. So you have a data drift because, like it takes time and you want to do business today. So that means that, like it's black boxed, you need a data scientist. The moment you receive it, it's in fact already outdated. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but it's already outdated because the data in the back has changed. And you see, so you have like a bunch of problems over there. In business as well, you don't need to have 99% certainty like in science, because 99 certainty or 98 could save a life. In business, like if you have 70%, it's already good enough to help you to make a good decision. It will help you forward. So it should be okay. So you have that point. And the second point is you need to work in real time. Business is happening now, not yesterday. It's happening now and tomorrow. So you need to be able to predict. So all this, I haven't seen AI solutions that are helping the democratization process. I haven't seen AI solutions that already exist in that. So that's where we want to go with our company. And that's where I think that the future business will lay. So that's what we're aiming with AxonJay, our company, in that direction.
Excellent. What did you learn from studying birds and bird migrations? And then how do you apply that to your work with AI?
Very good question. I like that one. So you have a small little bird called an Arctic Tern. It's a kind of a seagull. And that bird nests above the Arctic Circle, so in the springtime. Then wintertime, you can find that bird on Antarctica. So that bird travels 2 times a year the whole globe.
Wow.
So from a nature perspective, why would that bird do that? It costs like tremendous energy to do 2 times a year and a lot of risks and a lot of danger, etc., to do that. Well, that's entropy. Very simple, because the usage of energy to raise chicks is so much less above the Arctic because there's so much food over there that the energy, that the net positive energy to raise your chick above the Arctic Circle is like better than migrating twice around the globe. And that's how nature finds its solution. And this is giving me inspiration. It's just one example, but nature is full of examples like that. So that's why we as science guys, we should look, or at least economists, we should look at nature, because nature has always the best solution. And like I said in the beginning, there are no byproducts.
And how have you applied this then to your work with AI or with business? Or this kind of insight? Because it's a huge, very high level, profound insight that ultimately there's a positive ROI here.
Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I love doing those high level thinking, but you need to make them tangible, because I'm an entrepreneur. So like I said, business people today, let's take, for instance, a recruiter or an investor. He needs to take a decision today based on what his experience is and what he thinks the future will be. So shall I invest in that company? Shall I recruit that person? Or propose, etc. Whatever, shall I buy that product? Shall I propose that product, etc., etc. So what if an AI assistant could predict a behavior of a company based on certain signals? So we invented we call it a data peeling technique. So today, everybody is pooling data. We say, no, don't pool data anymore, because it's not the battle who has the most data, because it's not because you have more data than your competition that you're smarter than your competition, that you get better insights. Before COVID, that was the case. Everybody was pooling. So, and I know that I sold my last company in big data. I sold to Dun & Bradstreet. So I know data was I worked for 10 years in data. So the thing is, data peeling is translating data into signals. And a cocktail of signals is predicting and is analyzing a company on its true behavior. So if a company is going to buy, or if a company is going to grow, or if a company needs cash, if a company is going to recruit, if a company is going to invest, if the company is going abroad, if it's going to launch a new product, if it's going to start a TikTok campaign, you can see in true behavior in a cocktail of signals if a company is going to do. Very simple. If a company is going to an economical mission to a Belgian company and is going to Japan and is launching a Japanese website and is launching a product over there, he's probably going to recruit people that speak Japanese, for instance. So it's logic. That's the behavior. And it's always, and we know that in relationships, and we know that in the world, it's not what you say you do, it's what you actually do that is important. So you can say, I'm sustainable, but are you really sustainable? Are you really walking your talk? So the behavioral thing of a company based on real signals and a cocktail of signals is what the company will do. So, and that's what you're based on. And we've found on our platform, we proposed based on a cocktail, which company are going to recruit, which company needs cash, which company will invest according to a cocktail of signals. And then the business, the recruiter, the financier can immediately interact, can say, this was good, thumbs up, this was bad, thumbs down. And this trains in real time the algorithms, and you create your loop, and you can work in real time like that. So in real time, you have real behaviors of company, and your AI assistant is helping you to take the best business decision. Am I recruiting? Will I invest? Will I buy that product? Et cetera, et cetera.
So
that's based on nature. So, yeah.
Speaking of prediction and forecasting, how do you see AI impacting forecasting and prediction in business? And then how do we all need to be thinking right now to prepare for that, to forecast and predict ourselves?
Yes, good question. So to be a little bit technical in AI, or not that technical, but in machine learning, you're having supervised and unsupervised machine learning. I'm a true believer in business, that business tomorrow it's raining, or you crashed your car, or you had a setback, or you're very positive, you're taking different business decisions. So taking a decision is business is super volatile and it's super complicated to predict, because there are so many variables and they can change out of the blue without any clue. So that's the hard part of business decision taking, to be able to predict that. So the best to do is to predict true behavior with a cocktail of signals. So the best chance you have over there. So I don't believe in unsupervised machine learning in business, but I believe that it should be supervised, but by the business owner, not by the data scientist or the algorithm, but by the people themselves, the business people who take the decisions. So we said you need to predict with a cocktail of signals, you need to predict the true behavior. And then the business owner or decision taker needs to validate this, needs to train the algorithm, because it's his business. He knows his business the best. And tomorrow he can take a different decision then. So the algorithm will evolve with his decision-taking mechanism. That's how we see that it's possible in business.
So the owner, the founder, the entrepreneur now needs to start taking responsibility for prediction and taking responsibility for using these tools with their team to do better prediction.
Yes. And the thing is that we propose that to our customers. So we'll say recruiters. A recruiter will have his AI HR assistant that sits on our platform, and he will follow maybe all pharmaceutical companies in the New York area. There are 20,000 companies fitting that definition, and they will be ranked according to a cocktail of signals, more likely to hire to less likely to hire. And then he can go good, bad, and the machine will train. And every minute there will be a different ranking because the data is changing, the signals are changing, and the feedback is changing.
You won a Startup Innovation Award. What did you win this for? Why did you win that award?
Yes, we won several, but the ones where we're the most proud of is the Google Cloud Startup Award. So globally, we won that one because we invented the data peeling technique. What I just explained before is we translate data into signals, and you have a cocktail of signals. That could be 20 signals, change CEO, positive cash flow, started a TikTok campaign, changed address, whatever you decide on a cocktail. And once the cocktail is set, we only go after the data that is directly impacting the cocktail of signals. So we don't need to crawl the whole universe of data. So we don't need to use deep learning models all the time. So we're using data more effectively because, like I said, you need only 70% certainty. You don't need 99. So you don't need to look continuously, crawl the whole universe. So we're using up to 80% less energy. And we know today that 4% to 5% of the total energy consumption in the world is consumed by data centers. And we all know that AI is taking a leap. So that percentage will only go up. So that's why Google said, interesting to follow. And they said, oh, we're going to give that award to that little startup in Belgium. But that was not our first aim. So that's a little bit funny story about it. Our first aim is, as you know, every startup has no cash or virtually no cash. So what happened, we did that calculation to use only the data, as little as possible data with the maximum outcome, to use less cloud, to have a lower bill in the Google Cloud. So that was our first startup, but we quickly saw that the possibilities were bigger than that.
That's funny that Google would have awarded a company that uses technology to use less of their service. That seems counterintuitive.
But that's, you have to give that away to Google. They're looking in the future. So
I like it. Yeah. I admire those guys. Yeah.
In the beginning, it was also, why do they do this? And then I saw the broader picture, and I think, oh, smart move from those guys. So yes.
Yeah. What is self-machine learning?
Yes. So self-machine learning, I a little bit explained it already. It's, like I said, I'm a firm believer in supervised machine learning for business.
Mm-hmm.
In order to underline this supervised machine learning for business, is we call it self-ML, because it's the business owner, it's our customer that is using the AI assistant is the one who is giving feedback. So he's supervising the model and training the model for his purpose. And that's what we call, he's got his own ML ops operating system, but for him alone as a user. So that's the ultimate democratization of something very complicated for him. So
if someone uses your AxonJay platform, I'm curious myself. So the owner, the founder, they can all of a sudden use this tool set to do all these things that we're talking about, yes?
Yes, no. So what we did is, my ultimate goal with the self-machine learning platform is that tomorrow a customer can log in on the platform, choose the target market, choose the signals that he wants to follow, and then checks out and create his own solution. Mm-hmm. Today, we're too early in the market for that. The AI market hasn't evolved that far yet. So basically what we do, we pre-create products like an AI HR assistant, an AI private fund assistant. Let's give you an example with AI private fund. In the world, you have 160,000 alternative funds, hedge funds, real estate funds, private equity funds, and you have 60,000 fund managers. Well, the self-ML or platform with the product, the AI private fund assistant. So you're an investor, you will have your AI private fund assistant. He will continuously scan the whole 160,000 private funds and 60,000 fund managers with all different types of signals, and he will predict when a fund in real time is going to open, is going to close, is filling, is defilling, is predicting vintage years, he's going to predict the behavior of those funds based on the signals that he detects and the feedback of the investor manager. On top of that, I love transparency in AI. The machine will tell the investor manager how the machine came to that reasoning. So he'll say, that signal has 8 points out of 10 weight in the algorithm. That one has only 2 points. That one has 5 points. So when the business owner or my customer on the platform is seeing that, he can judge what the machine did, if it was valid, yes or no, into his business, because I'm not a finance guy, I'm an AI guy. So, and that's how we empower our customers to run their own business with an AI assistant.
I'm fascinated to know what you think about this idea of machines becoming sentient, or computers waking up, or the singularity where all of a sudden they become self-aware, and we hit this this threshold where change happens so fast that we don't know what's going to happen. What are your thoughts about this?
That's a good one. I think ultimately that will happen. So, because today we already give machines a framework and say, or code, or give a framework, we would like to have that software, and just code, and they code the software. So this is already happening today. I think ultimately, like, if they have access to the data, they will be able to do that. So they will be, because today also we're using more and more AI to help us having more creativity. It will give us a bigger ground to work with, because, like, very simple, the machine can crunch so many things that we cannot crunch. So, and I think there the machine can take a next step and say, hey, tomorrow I will take that decision. And then you start asking yourself your questions. Why did it take that decision? And for me, this is the first step of, like, building your own mind, having your own conscious, etc., etc. Is it the same conscious as we are? No, of course not. But, like, it's already there. It's happening today. The funny thing is as well, I'll give you another, and that's a very known example in the AI. So I think it was Berkeley University or something like that, one of those universities. They said, we want to build a machine that is recognized, or making with more than 90% certainty the difference between a husky and a wolf. We all know that story, yeah? And, like, and a husky and a wolf, they have the ears at the same place, the teeth at the same place, they are more the same height, they have the paws at the same place, the eyes at the same place, the ears, etc., etc. And they have, like, lots of color variation. So it's very difficult to find the difference between a husky and a wolf. Normally we can do that, but, like, you have, like, those borderline situations where you don't know if it's a husky and a wolf. And then they wrote algorithms for that. And okay, the machine self, like, unsupervised machine learning, they did that. And that crunching millions and millions of Google pictures, after, I don't know what it was, 3 weeks, a month, the machine came out, I have more than 9%, 9 out of 10, I'm right. And everybody celebrated champagne and whatever. And then they start looking in the code. And what happened? Every time there was snow on the picture, the machine said, oh, it's a husky. And he was right. So you see, you need to look out also how the conscious is built. But these are simple examples, but this is, yeah, today we have it as well. And there's, like, a case, I think it was 2 weeks ago, with a ChatGPT, 2 lawyers and an insurance fraud or something like that. And they were looking for similar cases or outcome with in trial cases, and ChatGPT, they used ChatGPT as a Google search, and ChatGPT just made up 2 cases. And they would read them in court, and then the judge says, oh, there's a problem over here. So you see, but that's actually building already the first step of your first conscience. They took that decision to make it, but like, what the machine has been made for. So, yeah.
Hmm.
So I find this very fascinating. You have whole deontological discussions on that. So I agree.
Okay, quick action step here. So the key is learning how to prompt better. You start out prompting by just asking questions and talking to AI like it's a helper. But you quickly realize that getting better at prompting is a huge accelerator and game changer for your own success in life. So these prompts will not only help you get a lot more done faster and accelerate your success, but they'll also help you really get prompting and get better at it. You can get all of these as a gift from me just by going to metamind.co/gift. That's metamind.co/gift, and I'll put that link below, and then just opt in to get it. I've also created a powerful video for you called AI in the Future of Business and Work and Success that demonstrates some of the key mindsets and prompting strategies to help you get up to speed and get a lot more out of generative AI. And it's also included as a free gift when you register. So just head over to metamind.co/gift to get your AI Accelerator Prompt Pack and the other free goodies. All right, back to our interview. Well, you mentioned that, whatever 5% of the energy is going into data centers right now. And if you just kind of chart the growth of those over time, it looks like if machines wake up, that if you just kind of follow it naturally, they're going to just turn everything into solar panels and data centers. And, that's, it's an interesting way of looking at reality anyway.
Exactly. So today already in the creative sector, like I know sculptors, architects, they're all using AI to feed them because, like when you work in a creative sector, you need inspiration all the time. And who's best to give you inspiration? I look at nature, but some people will look at machines, what they produce for them.
Yeah.
Because and this is also quite interesting evolution. I mean, already today choreographers are collaborating with neural networks to find new ways of, I don't know. So this is all happening today. It's a fascinating world that we're entering. So artists and sculptors are creating new forms with machine learning. This is happening today. So
yeah. What advice would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur who wants to make something innovative and positive, especially in this kind of modern landscape?
I would say be a techno-positivist. So in the first place, know that technology can make a better world, but you need to take some reflexes into account. So one of the reflexes, be transparent, because the problems, I'll give you another example. When it rains and raindrops fall on the window, it's physics that those drops will go down. They will not go up, they will go down, but they will never go straight down. They will take the way of less resistance. That's the way they will go down. And that's what we do with technology as human. We always try to resist technology. We invent more laws. We are non-believers, et cetera, et cetera. So I think as an AI entrepreneur, you need to be a techno-believer, but be a techno-positivist and be transparent. Because if you're not transparent, people will not embrace technology because they don't understand. And when there's something new, people are having, the first reflex is, no, it's new, I don't know. It's so you need to be transparent. This is really, and I think every entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur is always somebody, who's on top of the wave, he should be transparent because it will help him to get more customers. So it will help his business case anyway. But if you're transparent, and for sure with technology. So I don't like when you're like, it's black box, it's keeping a secret, it's doing that. Yeah. I want to have that, like today we're more and more, like in open software, and we're more and more with that philosophy. So
Beautiful.
And I'm having like big questions how countries are fighting the AI fight between each other. I mean, like it will leak. Remember the raindrops on the window. It will come. Technology will come. It will just make a detour. So yeah.
Yeah. What's the most important thing you've learned from nature?
Oh, that's a heavy question. Nature is resilient. And it's about time. So I think that the current climate problems would not be a problem if they would happening less fast. because nature is super resilient. It always bounces back, but it needs time. You see that when you bring, for instance, a species from North America with natural enemies over there, and you bring it to Europe where it doesn't have natural enemies and it thrives over there, you know, like you disturbing nature. It's not that nature cannot handle that. It just doesn't have the time to handle to the new problem because we're interfering too quickly. So yeah, my biggest, my biggest learning that you are always, as a business, as a person, resilient. You just need to take the time, the focus to become that. So I think that's what I learned. So as a business, you can be very resilient to certain changes, but you need to be open. You need to give yourself time. You need to prepare, and then you can be resilient to whatever change. If you're not open, you're going to die. That's Darwinism. Huh? So yeah.
That's a good point. What's the most important thing you learned from, being an economist and a statistician?
That's also a good one. Regression, the almighty of regression in my work. So today we're using regression. So for instance, if a signal is occurred today in our platform, if a signal is occurring today, we go automatically back what happened 6 months ago, a year ago, that generated that signal. So, and then we use, that's called regression. We use that cocktail that happened before, a year before, to make new predictions. So the models are continuously evolving. And that's pure statistic. That is pure math. So, yes, but in order to be able to do that, you need to have that vision. You need to be able to connect that regression dot with nature dot, with the business dot to find out. So that's what I like. That's what I get my inspiration from and my energy from.
What's the most important thing you learned from entrepreneurship and business?
I learned several things. Is that the classical one, fail, 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 and then you go. But entrepreneurship is about people. It's about having the right team. That's the most important thing, because you can have a great idea, and I'm exaggerating a bit, but I'm having like tens and tens of great ideas a day. But still, you need to execute them, and you can only execute them through and with a team. So then have the same mindset as you, and that's the hardest thing to do when you're entrepreneuring. It's even harder than to find customers. It's having the right team.
People having the right team, to execute. Excellent.
Yeah, with the same mindset, with the same belief, because then you're forming a team. So, and that's, like when South Africa became, I don't know, world champion rugby, when Belgium was the #1 in the football for so long. It's about a team. It's about that, with the same spirit and the same philosophy and the same values also.
What's the most important thing you've learned from using AI?
That AI can change the world order today. How we think, how we work, how we do business, how we look at science, and I think for the better. So, so AI is really, people don't realize it, but it's the new revolution that is coming. And it's even bigger than when the internet came, and it's even bigger than when the industrial revolution was here. It's going to be huge. And today, I think it was 30 or 35% of consumers don't even realize that they're experiencing AI when they do something online today. They don't, but they're already using AI without knowing it. And that's not me saying that. It's like research already did that a couple of times. And that's about how impactful AI can be. So, and we're just at the first step.
One last question. What have you learned about the future? What's the most important thing you've learned about the future, studying prediction?
I think there's a crashing responsibility for human for the humankind, but there's even bigger responsibility for business people. Because business people have a special brain. Business people are executors, are theoretical thinkers, are scientists in whatever they are. And as they are doers, they can change the world. So there's like a crushing responsibility on entrepreneurs, much more than on science, even much more than on politicians. And you know, like, I love when somebody says, I want to go to Mars. Yeah, I know, but you know, like, there's so much work to be done here. So use this power of your brain and this power of your capabilities to do something over here. And that's how I see the future. That's how with the future of prediction, that's how I want to see it. And, you know, like, even a small entrepreneur, and that's the cool thing as well today, is through technology, somebody sitting alone at a desk and having an internet access can have a global impact. And that's the beauty of the thing. So that's what I see where entrepreneurs really need to step in. So, and I'm like surprised that we don't see entrepreneur movements that are working towards a goal like that, but I think that will come. So I think entrepreneurs will start, you know, like, creating networks that will work towards that direction. So more and more you see consciousness raising on that level. So, which is a good thing.
Jean-Philippe, thank you so much for being with me today. I really learned a lot, and I appreciate your time.
Super. Thank you for having me, Eben. I'm honored.
So thank you for watching another Metamind AI interview. Remember to keep practicing prompting, keep learning, get our prompt pack and quick start video, watch our other videos to learn from other AI experts, and stay tuned to us here on Metamind. Stay subscribed because this is going to get really interesting.